Hi, this lesson will be about sentence analysis. When we talk about sentence analysis, we are talking about taking a sentence and breaking it down into different pieces that answer different questions. We're going to start off with a very simple sentence that just has one subject and one verb. The main verb in a sentence is called a predicate, so that's what I'll be calling the verbs from now on, is the predicate. A very simple sentence to start off with might be something like, Dad bakes. The subject is the person or thing who is performing the verb or the predicate. So first you write your sentence on your strip of paper and we look at it. And it says, Dad bakes. Next, I underline and cut out the main verb in the sentence. In this case, it's bakes. I cut it out. The main verb in the sentence, or the predicate, goes on top of the red circle. Bakes. Now I ask myself, who is it that bakes? Well, it's Dad. Dad bakes. So I pull this arrow down and the circle that goes with it, and I have Dad bakes. Now, bakes is the main verb in the sentence, and we know that that is called the predicate. If I flip this over, it tells me. Now, Dad is the one who's doing the baking. It's who the sentence is about. And we call that the subject. Dad bakes. Dad is the subject. Bakes is the predicate. Let's do another sentence. Every time you use your own circles and arrows that you would have colored in at school and cut out, in between each and every sentence, you always want to reset the pieces. And they go in this order. With the red circle on top, who is it that, what is it that, whom, what, and to whom, to what, or for whom, for what. So we're going to write another sentence. This time I'm going to take the same sentence I had before, but I'm going to add a little something else. And it says, Dad bakes a cake. So I write the sentence as step one, cut it out, make it flat. Dad bakes a cake. So first step, once we have the sentence written, is we underline and cut out the predicate. It still bakes. It's still what's being done, the action. You can't have a sentence if you don't have a predicate. Bakes is the verb. It goes on top of the red circle. Who is it that bakes? Well, that hasn't changed either. That's still Dad. Now, we have Dad bakes a cake. Dad bakes what? What is the thing that Dad is baking? Well, it's a cake. Oops. This is the noun that is receiving the action. It's being baked. So, we know that bakes is the predicate. Dad is the subject. Now this is a new one. This is the direct object. The direct object is the noun in the sentence that receives the action from the predicate. Dad bakes a cake. We'll do one more sentence, the same sentence but adding a little bit on to show you this last arrow. So clear the board and reset everything. And I will write the same sentence but add a little bit more on there. Dad bakes Mom a cake. I could also say Dad bakes a cake for Mom. Either way, you would do the same thing when you were analyzing your sentence. And we know that Dad did not bake Mom. He did not put Mom in the oven, did he? He baked Mom a cake. So if that sounds a little awkward to you, you could say Dad bakes a cake for Mom. So again, first thing we always do, we underline and cut out the predicate, the main verb, and it goes on the red circle. So, bakes. Who is it that bakes? Well, Dad bakes. Dad bakes what? He bakes a cake. He does not bake Mom. Dad bakes a cake. Now, for whom does Dad bake a cake? Who is he planning on giving it to? It's for Mom. I'll pull these down. That's this arrow. Now you notice all of the black arrows are coming off of the red circle for the predicate. That is because they all have to do with the predicate. They're either performing the predicate, they're receiving the action, or they're going to be receiving the direct object that comes from the predicate. So let's see what we have here. Again, bakes is our predicate. Dad is our subject. He's performing the predicate. A cake is a direct object. It is receiving the action. Now, Mom is an indirect object. It's receiving that through the direct object. So we say that it's indirect, and it answers the question, for whom, for what, or to whom, to what. Dad bakes Mom a cake. This is how you use these arrows, and you write different sentences and you try to follow these patterns. You can also draw these using your own circles and arrows on paper. So let's see what that would look like. You would use a piece of regular paper. I personally like to fold it so that I can do one sentence per rectangle of the paper. So I'll start off with Dad bakes. And I remember that bakes was my predicate. It went on my red circle. I'll write bakes on my red circle. I'll put a P underneath of it for predicate. I would color this circle in red. If you have a circle you can trace, that would be even better. We have templates in the classroom, but for at home, you can just draw regular arrows and circles. And then of course Dad goes here. And I will put an S under Dad for subject. So this would be Dad bakes. Now, if I were to continue to go on and say Dad bakes a cake, the arrow would just come here for direct object. I'll put it under the circle as well. A cake and direct object. If you were to put Dad bakes a cake, we could change the sentence for Mom. That would come up here. For Mom, and we'll put indirect object there. So your job now is to make as many sentences as possible that use the subject and the direct object and the indirect object. Once you've written them on the paper and cut them out, organized them, you can write down the sentence and draw out the sentence. I wouldn't even mind a little picture. Perhaps I would draw. I'm not a very good artist, but I can get the idea across. Something like that. And that is the lesson on sentence analysis.